Coming up next is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. We take a look back at this past Sunday's TNA Lockdown on pay-per-view with a shocking end. Look back at the WWE SmackDown experience from the Bradley Center this past Sunday night. Also talking about tonight's main event and a little more details on the PWR festivities in New York as part of WrestleMania weekend. All that along with a draft update from the lovely Linda Kay. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Wednesday night. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside with David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time Knockouts Primetime, the Straight Edge Hall of Famer, hero.
That's the best you got.
It's the best I got this week.
Okay.
You're already stressing me out. We just started. Just being, that's what they call a shoot?
It's the new set. It's the new look. What are you stressed? This is a multi-million-dollar facility right here.
Let's talk about this past Sunday's TNA Lockdown, which was on pay-per-view in this Wednesday's Impact Wrestling Report. And David Hero, we've got a brand new TNA World Heavyweight Champion as Bully Ray was revealed as the president of Aces and Eights, saying that not only did he screw Hogan, but he screwed his daughter Brooke, but he did so all while becoming the brand new World Heavyweight Champion at Lockdown.
The president of Aces and Eights, does that mean that there could possibly be a CEO? Could there be somebody else?
There could be.
Do you think Bully Ray is smart enough to put this whole thing together by himself?
Well, I think so. Do you not think he is?
No. He's a very smart individual, without a shadow of a doubt. But Bully Ray outsmarts the Hogans, outsmarts the TNA Impact fans, everybody, to take the TNA Impact World Heavyweight Championship from Jeff Hardy at Lockdown. Can't say we're surprised. Bully Ray has done a tremendous job over the past year or so of reinventing himself, getting himself in better shape, putting on some great matches, at times carrying matches that need to be carried. And I can honestly say, some people may not like it, I like the fact that Bully Ray is the current TNA Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion.
A lot of people speculated, though, and two names came really to mind as the speculation occurred with who would be the leader of Aces and Eights. A lot of people saying Eric Bischoff, a lot of people, including this guy, saying Jeff Jarrett. I don't think anybody really thought Bully Ray would be that guy. There might have been some inklings, if you will, but we had D'Lo Brown revealed as a member of Aces and Eights a couple of weeks back.
Better recognize.
And now Bully Ray at the helm. Is this something that was too expected, or did it have enough of that shock value in the steel cage matchup at Lockdown this past Sunday?
I think for the casual fan, there was shock value. I think for the fans that watch our show, can't be that surprised. But they're missing star power in Aces and Eights, because whenever it comes down to it, they're losing the matches. They lost the Aces and Eights versus Team Sting. They lost that match. They need somebody else, someone that can be in the front line with Bully Ray and Ken Anderson. Because if you're going to depend on Wes Briscoe and Eric Bischoff and Mike Knox,
Garrett Bischoff
and Doc, did I say Garrett?
You said Eric.
Eric? Oh,
Freudian slip.
I meant Garrett. That's not Freudian and Eric. And, they need something else. They need that enforcer. The enforcer can't be the leader.
Arn Anderson?
Even Devon, as good as Devon, they need guys that were upper card guys involved in the group. They can't
Ken Anderson's in the group.
Right, but
Bully Ray's in the group.
But Ken's run on the upper card wasn't that long. I mean, injuries, were a problem there. But you need that stud.
Here's my question. Given where it is right now, do you, David Hero, care any more or any less about the Aces and Eights?
No. And what I do, I just like the fact that they have the TNA World Impact Heavyweight Championship belt in their stable, because that elevates them as a group. Mm-hmm. Now they need to get the tag titles. get the TV title. Well, they had the TV title with Devon, but now they just have to start collecting gold, and that will elevate the other guys that are really lower mid-card guys.
So what's next for the Aces and Eights?
A
lot will be revealed tomorrow night live in Chicago.
There has to
Impact
be
Wrestling.
another big reveal. There needs to be somebody else, whether that be an Eric Bischoff, whether that be a Jeff Jarrett, whether that be somebody that has some sizzle and steak.
Well, we talk about Impact tomorrow night, coming to us from the Sears Center in Chicago as Impact goes on the road. This is the first stop on Impact on Tour. We're going to be broadcasting live from the facility Thursday night. And obviously, you'll be able to check out the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive live on YouTube Thursday right after Impact Wrestling. We're coming up this Saturday on Primetime. You and I will have a live report from the Sears Center as to our impact of Impact from tomorrow night. So be sure to tune in for that big 15-year anniversary episode of the Pro Wrestling Report coming this Saturday. And the main event, of course, the headliner, is our guest joining us on the road to WrestleMania all month long. Big Sexy Kevin Nash. This week we're going to talk to Kevin Nash about his WrestleMania memories. He's going to share some insight as to why and what happened at some of the WrestleManias he was a part of, including WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 11, WrestleMania 18, and a lot to be talked about with that.
I'm willing to bet he's not going to hold anything back.
He typically doesn't.
No.
But TNA Lockdown had a few other matches going for it this past Sunday night, including the X Division Championship matchup as Kenny King defeated Zema Ion and Christian York. Great matchup. Kenny King retains the X Division Championship in a typical X Division matchup. Lots of spots.
3 young guys, got all their stuff in, high flying all over the place. Solid match. I'm not really completely sold on Kenny King.
Really?
As talented as he is, he's missing
Is this a dancing thing?
He's missing, maybe it's his intro music. He's missing something. I don't know what it is.
Amazing talent.
Christian York, another good talent. Zema Ion is just improving every time he gets in the ring. But solid X Division match that everyone is, expecting to see.
Joseph Park gets a win over Joey Ryan. How many more legs, or how much more time do we have with this Joseph Park character versus Abyss?
I think Joseph Parks is fantastic. I think he is the perfect Clark Kent to Abyss's Superman. They do a fantastic job. I mean, he really is, and it's no secret who it is.
Right.
We know it's Abyss. Okay, because they tease it and how he snaps in and out. But for a guy that has spent the better part of his career under a mask, his facial expressions are top notch. And Joseph Parks, fantastic. Joey Ryan, he hasn't done a whole lot, has he, since he won the gut check, or since he's been hired as a gut check, since he beat Uncle Al at Bound for Glory at the BFG.
The Battle of the Sweaters, Rob Terry defeats Robbie E. A little surprised, but not really in that matchup.
I mean, Rob Terry, put it this way, Robbie E. is the equivalent of Santino Marella. Okay, he can go out there, he's entertaining, he's funny, he can work, he can put on a good match, he can tell a story, and lose every week, much like Santino, but yet come back the next week and still get a crowd reaction. And
a lot of talent wrapped up in Robbie E. And I'm very, very impressed by what they've done with Rob Terry since the big dance-off a couple of months ago.
They have gotten Rob Terry out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, we've met Rob Terry. We've chatted with Rob Terry.
Great guy.
Super good guy. Giant of a man. Very polite. And they're starting to bring some charisma out of him, which is one of the things he's been lacking.
Tag team championships were on the line. Bobby Roode and Austin Aries defending their championships against Bad Influence and Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. Bobby Roode and Austin Aries retained those championship titles, and a little bit of controversy going into this pay-per-view. It's been widely reported that Bobby Roode did indeed have his contract expire with TNA Impact Wrestling going into this pay-per-view due to whatever reason, and that contract re-signed, and he keeps one half of the tag team championship belts at Lockdown.
Well, and from what I understand, it was a 11th hour re-signing with Bobby Roode, where he pretty much Jeff Jarretted TNA. He kind of got what he wanted and a little bit more.
Yeah.
But good for Bobby Roode. He's a fantastic performer, and now I'm sure he's going to be a TNA for lifer. I'm willing to bet it was at least a 4 or 5 year deal. I can't imagine it being short term, and Bobby Roode being 36 will end his career in TNA Impact Wrestling. But you know, those three teams go out there and they work hard and everything else, and I still believe Austin Aries and Bobby Roode, as tremendous as they are as individual performers, are a million times better as a tag team.
Steel cage matchup. Wes Briscoe defeated Kurt Angle.
Is there a Briscoe in the cage?
Well, there was, and a Briscoe who had the ability to defeat Kurt Angle.
You know, if it was April 1st, I would understand. But good God Almighty, who would have thought Kurt Angle? Obviously, there's respect there for the Briscoe family. And, you know, Kurt's the kind of guy that if he didn't believe in something, he could veto it if he'd like.
Yeah.
He felt it was the right thing for business.
We'll see where that goes. And also, there was a lethal lockdown matchup. Team TNA against the Aces and Eights. Team TNA, led by Sting, wins that matchup in another excellent performance by Showtime, Eric Young.
Eric Young has something that you just cannot teach in the ring. He has that charisma. He has that it factor. And you know what? For the most part, it was a pretty solid lethal lockdown match. If you think about it, the last lethal lockdown Garrett Bischoff was in was against his father, teaming with Sting and all those guys, and now it's on the opposite end, and interesting.
Some tremendous wrestling and some tremendous spots in that matchup. Lethal lockdown, weapons involved, of course, and so much going on. Overall, TNA Lockdown from San Antonio, Texas, biggest crowd in the history of TNA wrestling domestically, over 10,000 people in attendance.
You know what?
Great success for them.
And congratulations to them. Some people are going to say, oh, it was heavily papered. Let me just say this. You can heavily paper any event you want. Doesn't mean the people are going to show up. When you give someone a free ticket, they have no reason to show because they're not out anything if they don't go.
Right.
They were all, so even if they were given free tickets, they showed up, and the place was packed. It looked fantastic on TV, good crowd reaction, and I expect something very similar tomorrow in Chicago.
And we know AJ Styles returns to TNA Impact Wrestling, at least on the live broadcast. That happens tomorrow night in Chicago, Sears Center. Great seats still available for that show. Back to Lockdown, a lot of people talking about, yeah, they drew 10 grand. Yeah, they did great, but they were only using part of the Alamo Dome.
Well, okay, what if they didn't use part of it? If they use the whole thing, it's still 10,000 people there. I mean, for a company that's used to drawing 1,000 people at a house show on the road,
On a good house show on the road.
to 10 times that,
Yeah.
congratulations.
And things are trending to be on par with that tomorrow night in Chicago at the Sears Center. We're going to be there, and it's going to be a fantastic night.
I
for
understand
Impact
you've been
Wrestling.
invited to catering again.
I have been consulted on the menu, and yes, I will be in catering, and we will have some delicious selections. And you are not allowed.
Hey, how about you and your buddy, the Pope?
What about me and my buddy the Pope?
Well, there was white smoke today.
There was white smoke today.
Yes.
My buddy the Pope's not from Argentina.
I thought he was the...
Black smoke before they picked him.
Gotcha.
That's this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report. Lockdown this past Sunday night on pay-per-view. Still so much more to come here on the Pro Wrestling Report, including the draft update with Linda Kay. Talks about how
we don't need to talk about the draft right now.
Because you're losing?
Because it's irrelevant
How is
until
it
the
irrelevant?
end.
There was a pay-per-view last weekend where points were generated.
But it doesn't.
So it's very relevant.
It only matters when
we
it's
haven't talked
over
about
with.
it since the last pay-per-view when points were generated. You are a disgustingly bitter person.
I'm not
because
bitter.
you're losing, you don't want to
No,
talk
you know
about
what?
it. Because you're going to lose, you don't want to talk
wanna
about
be
it. Because
surprised.
you lost last year, you don't want to
On
talk
a
about it.
technicality.
Thank you, Heath Slater. We're also going to talk about this past Sunday's live event experience for WWE. It was our first WWE house show in quite a while, and some interesting things coming of that. And also looking at tonight's WWE main event broadcast. The Pro Wrestling Report primetime Wednesday night continues right after this.
For 15 years, PWR has set the bar on pro wrestling reporting, revolutionizing the field with innovation and a clear commitment to you, the fans. In celebration of our 15-year anniversary, we're doing it again. PWR is honored to welcome a new member to the primetime broadcast team who will guide us on the road to WrestleMania. Please join us in welcoming former WCW, TNA, and WWE champion, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, to the Pro Wrestling Report broadcast team. Nash will be joining PWR hosts Damian Nelson and David Hero in studio starting Saturday, March 16th, and will appear every week leading up to WrestleMania 29. PWR and Kevin Nash. It simply does not get any better.
It's a shameful thing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey.
What are you doing? I've already... Look,
It'll be fine.
3 strikes. 3. You've got
I
a
have
strike
no
from
problem with
last
my
week.
wellness policy.
Clearly you do. You're popping pills here on set.
I have a headache.
Oh, you are a headache. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. As we saw just before that timeout, David, Big Sexy Kevin Nash in this very studio this Saturday night for Primetime. It's going to be our guest host for the next several weeks leading into WrestleMania. And of course, Kevin Nash hosting that big party in New York City. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But this past Sunday night, it was a party in Milwaukee. A party hosted by WWE where they brought the SmackDown brand tour to the Bradley Center, David Hero. This was an event that was well attended. As a matter of fact, it was there were some 9,000 people in attendance for a house show in Milwaukee, which is very significant. And it was the biggest event that WWE had drawn for us for a non-televised event since the year 2000, and even beat out some of the recent television tapings that they had done here. Very great night for Milwaukee. But let's talk about the live event experience, David Hero. And one thing I'll say is every single person on that card worked.
They worked hard.
There was a last man standing match between Alberto Del Rio and the Big Show. Chairs were involved. Big Show was bumping all over the place. They delivered a television quality show for a non-television show in Milwaukee this past Sunday.
They did. It was a very solid event. I was impressed. The guys worked hard. You had the girls that were there. You had tag team wrestling. You had Great Khali. You had Alicia Fox, Ricardo Rodriguez.
Well, let's go over some of those individually. First, let's talk about Damian Sandow, who is obviously
Hilarious.
spectacular. Was spectacular this past Monday night on Raw. Oh, you were not aware? But what you should do, folks, is when you go to these shows, when you go to events, is you should watch the performers, watch the wrestlers, and watch what they do from the moment they walk out of the curtain to the moment they walk back through that curtain. And some of the people we're going to talk about today, including Damian Sandow, just delivered every moment they were on stage.
The great thing about going to a house show, as opposed to being a televised event, is the guys are a little more free to try and experiment with different things. They know that they don't have to worry about something looking bad on television. They get to tweak their character, try different movesets, if you will.
Not as much pressure either.
Not as much pressure, and I think they have better matches on house shows than they do on televised events.
No doubt.
And Damian Sandow, hilarious, very creative. Cody Rhodes, it was Team Rhodes Scholars against Team Hell No, and solid match, a very good match.
We also saw Fandango actually perform in a matchup against Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase, who said to one of the fans sitting at ringside, "Hey, do you want to fight this guy?"
Yeah. You know what? You better say his name right.
I'm not sure I can. So
It's
I'm not
Johnny
gonna-
Curtis.
Oh.
Just say Johnny Curtis.
Not many people have seen Fandango wrestle in the ring. What did you think?
He's a talented guy. He's a good-looking guy. How that's going to translate going forward with the current TV product, I'm not sure, because when was the last time we had a character like a Fandango in the ring? I mean, you can say Rico went back with, who was he with? Charlie Haas. But I just can't imagine, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all comes together.
Alicia Fox, ripped, toned,
Oh my
and ready to play.
good God almighty, Foxy. I mean, she looked fantastic. Had a very solid match with Layla. And, the girls worked hard. Finally, the girls are given more than 3 minutes on TV.
Rosa Mendez, speaking of girls, managing the...
quick, slow,
phones.
all over the place. Yeah, the Carlitos, Epico, and Primo, they worked with...
Carlito wasn't there.
Epico and Primo. I said the Carlitos.
You said the Primos. Oh, I don't care what you said, but
Of
Carlito
course.
wasn't there.
Yeah, they worked with the Great Khali and R-Truth.
Yeah.
And let me just say this.
What's up?
The Great Khali, it looks uncomfortable to be him. I mean, he's just so big,
Massive.
and you see his back muscles just tightened and stretched. It's like, ugh.
Massive dude. Ricardo Rodriguez as well.
What can I say about my super friend?
Great guy.
Fantastic.
And again, just performed the entire night long. They entertained, but one guy got a reaction that I was at least surprised by, and that was Randy Orton. Biggest name on the card for sure. Milwaukee popped huge for Randy Orton. And a lot of people saying Orton should be heel, Orton should be heel, Orton should be heel. Well,
it's
you got to imagine
hard.
those cheers are translating into dollars.
The problem with Randy Orton is he's a good-looking guy, and the women love him. So women are going to cheer him. And the guys like him because, he's kind of Austin-esque.
Comes off as a bit of a prick.
Yeah, with ears. So, yeah, absolutely.
Big show from this past Sunday in Milwaukee. No return date announced. However, the WWE Live event experienced some enhancements.
You got to figure they're going to be coming back soon.
Very soon.
9,000 for a house show.
On a Sunday in Milwaukee. But the interactive pieces that you see on Raw also included in this house show. Fans were able to vote on several elements of the show.
You are forgetting about the biggest, besides Randy Orton, the other biggest star that was there.
Cody Rhodes?
No.
Well, he was.
Jack Swagger and Uncle Zeb.
Yes, they were.
And that crowd was just hating them.
Yeah, well, they should.
True.
There were a couple of people that stood up.
It was shoot heat.
There was chanting Palin, Palin, Palin. I don't know what that meant.
Palin.
I have no idea what that meant. Anyways, let's move on, though, and talk about tonight's WWE main event, which featured a main event of the Big Show going up against Alberto Del Rio. Big for the Wednesday show from WWE. Jack Swagger out observing the match. Of course, he takes out Del Rio after Show had sent Del Rio to the outside, and Big Show getting the win in that matchup. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Swagger versus Del Rio for the World Heavyweight
Why
Championship.
put Big Show in that spot? Now he just beat the World Heavyweight Champion by countout. Does that mean he's now a top contender for the title? Does that mean he might get involved in all this?
Possibly, because Big Show doesn't have a place in WrestleMania. We're going to hear some stuff on SmackDown this Friday night, I would imagine, about what role he may play. But there's no obvious position for Big Show.
I'm not a big fan of how they're doing that.
The Usos got a win over the three-man band, the team of Heath Slater and Drew McIntyre.
Whoa. Drew McIntyre, after that butt whooping on Monday night, showed up tonight?
But didn't you read he's injured?
Yeah, but he also worked tonight.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
He got killed by Mark Henry and by Ryback.
Yeah, absolutely he did. Well, he's, resilient.
Oh, he's resilient, all right. He's chosen.
The Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett actually got a win over Justin Gabriel. It was a non-title matchup. I know you're a big fan of those, David Hero. And The Miz getting involved in that as well. With the stare down, Miz was on commentary. Barrett versus Miz at WrestleMania. Are you at all intrigued?
No.
Wade Barrett got little to no reaction in Milwaukee this past Sunday night from the live crowd. I was shocked by that. I mean, it was...
Well, here's why. Because when you see him on TV and he loses every week and he has a belt around his waist, he loses value.
It didn't help that he was wrestling Bo Dallas. Nothing against Bo Dallas, but Bo Dallas has not really been introduced to the fans enough for them to care about him. So maybe that played a role. But this was before Bo Dallas was even introduced. He's the Intercontinental Champion, and nobody cares.
Who hasn't been winning anything?
That he has not, ladies and gentlemen. That's this main event report. We're going to take another brief timeout. When we come back, we're going to find out about the update on the 2012 Pro Wrestling Report Draft, 2013 rather, Pro Wrestling Report Draft, and also some more details and some more names announced for the big PWR weekend events in New York as part of WrestleMania weekend. The Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Wednesday night continues right after this.
The biggest party during WrestleMania weekend is coming to Manhattan. PWR presents Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle, hosted by big sexy Kevin Nash on Saturday, April 6th. But Kevin won't be alone. The party starts right after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, just steps away from Madison Square Garden. VIP tickets include free drinks and more, and are only available in limited quantities. Get your tickets now for this tremendous Hall of Fame after party right across the street from Madison Square Garden. It will be epic.
New York.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Wednesday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius Tiberius, blah, 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 Hero. And David, it feels good being on this, here in the new studio.
I like how smooth the new desk is.
Even though you still got that stuff You can't have all this shenanigan. We just heard about shenanigans. You can't have all
Easter
this
is
shenanigan.
around the corner.
It is in a couple weeks. Absolutely,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely. I'm trying
St. Patrick's Day is coming up on tomorrow.
No, Sunday.
Sunday. Yes, indeed.
Listen, I know you enjoy your Jameson, you drink it a lot, but
Irish.
when it's affecting the production, it's not tomorrow.
Well,
Sunday.
New York City, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked a lot about it. The Pro Wrestling Report events in New York City as part of WrestleMania weekend. David Hero, let's go into a little more detail and reveal some more names that are going to be participating in the shenanigans party in Times Square. Look. It's a weekend full of activities, ladies and gentlemen. It kicks off Friday night with the PWR Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And let's talk a little bit about what that is going to be, David Hero, because it is an actual ceremony where we will show our respect for several great talents in this business. The event will be hosted by Armando Estrada.
No. Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Haha. Will be hosted by Armando Estrada, and being inducted into the Hall of Fame are legends in the business who have not yet received the respect they deserve from Hall of Fames that are out there right now. First of which being the one and only King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy will be there live to accept the induction into the PWR Hall of Fame, and fans will have an opportunity to meet Bundy before and after the show, which is an opportunity you don't get very often at all.
Not at all.
And that is going to be followed by the induction of one of the greatest tag teams in the history of professional wrestling, Axe and Smash of Demolition, also being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's going to be an hour-long ceremony surrounded by, again, meet and greet opportunities with Axe, Smash, King Kong Bundy, and Armando Estrada. All of that will be happening on top the Hotel Pennsylvania 18th floor ballroom. PWR has the entire top level of the hotel for the weekend, and that will be on Friday night, April 5th. And tickets right now, they're on sale, David Hero. You can get tickets to the event for only $15 each right now. Hell, $15
That's
to
it?
meet those legends for a special time, for a limited time. Absolutely, that's it.
That's fantastic.
There's also several unannounced guests who are going to be joining us at the Hall of Fame who want to be there to see King Kong Bundy and Demolition be inducted, so you will not want to have missed this event. Tickets available for that right now at pwrshow.com, and you get them while they're hot, get them while they're available right now. But David, that's not the only thing going on, because on Saturday night, it's the biggest party that is happening during WrestleMania weekend. You called it shenanigans.
Well, that's
recently.
this last weekend in Milwaukee was shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely. But folks, 18 names have been announced. 16 names have been announced. We got 2 more for you right now. Kevin Nash is hosting this party. David, there's going to be a live band. The Delaney's are going to be performing live. As a matter of fact, they're going to be backing me up at midnight when I do a live performance. I'm going to be singing Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. It's going to be at midnight in New York City. It's going to be great. I got pipes, you know.
Yeah, and thank God I got earplugs.
But live band and Kevin Nash hosting, and the list of names of people you get to meet at this party just by getting in the door. Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be in attendance, and we've heard all the great things that's happening in Jake's life as of late. Also, Diamond Dallas Page will be there. Matt Hardy, Rebby Sky, Robbie E, the Pope, Rhino, Jay Lethal,
Armando Estrada.
And so many names, again, that
Divas and Knockouts are going to be there.
Amber O'Neal, Shelly Martinez, so many names for just one price. You can come to this party. It will be a party atmosphere. As a matter of fact, there's an opportunity for you to celebrate and have a party with the open bar. Buy a VIP Platinum ticket. You get free booze all night long.
Wait. Free drinks?
Free drinks.
With the Platinum ticket?
With the Platinum VIP ticket, absolutely. We did this in Miami last year. We had 9 names in attendance there. We're doubling the action this year, ladies and gentlemen. And all the names are not yet completely announced. As I said, we've got 2 more to add for you tonight. But in Miami last year, some 500 people coming down to South Beach to be a part of the shenanigans party, and it was a party for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we are pleased to announce 2 additional names, ladies and gentlemen, joining this year. First of which comes to us from Ring of Honor Wrestling, joining shenanigans in the concrete jungle. Truth Martini. He's going to have the Book of Truth with him.
How appropriate a guy named Martini is going to be at a shenanigans party.
Exactly. And we talk about the live band. Well, David, I can't wait until this next superstar gets a chance to perform and interact with that live band at the shenanigans party, because he loves to dance, folks. We announced it this past Monday night on PWR Live on YouTube. Rikishi is going to be appearing at the shenanigans party as well. You add that to the list of names already announced. Rikishi, formerly of WWE, and the calls are still coming in, David, here. I understand we're close on a couple of other talents
yes,
who will be in attendance at the shenanigans party. We only have 2 spots left, by the way, because we don't want this. It's already huge.
It's ridiculous.
It's already massive. It's already epic.
And this doesn't even include the people that are going to be walking across the street or under the tunnel.
You mean the names we can't announce?
Yes.
That will be there as well?
Do the math, people.
It will be happening immediately following the WWE Hall of Fame, which is literally across the street from the Hotel Pennsylvania. And yes, we can tell you.
It's hosted by Kevin Nash, who is best friends with, I'm sure they know who that is.
We cannot announce or tell you those names, but you never know who you're going to see at Shenanigans. And by the way, you can make your headquarters for New York and WrestleMania weekend the same place we are, the PWR Host Hotel, Hotel Pennsylvania. The best deal in Times Square, ladies and gentlemen. You can get a hotel room for only $139 a night. That for a single bed, or if you need 2 beds, you can get that for $159 each. Only a few rooms remain as part of the PWR block of rooms at the Hotel Pennsylvania. You can go to pwrshow.com for all the information on how you can book that right now. Linda's staying there.
Are we on the 13th floor?
I am on the 17th floor.
Oh, you got the suite, didn't
Penthouse,
you? Yeah, of course you did.
Well, I mean, you know.
I'll probably be next to the laundry chute, knowing you.
Oh, you are in the laundry chute, actually.
Of course.
Watch out when those towels are coming down. You never know what's on them. But that is Shenanigans and the Hall of Fame. You can get tickets for the entire weekend as well. You can get a weekend package deal. PWRshow.com. We'll continue to announce names, but it's getting closer and closer, David Hero, right after the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, wait. If you have the suite, does that mean the after-party parties in your suite?
For a select few, of which you are not included.
I'll have wristbands for that, huh?
But, you know, let's go now to Linda Kay, ladies and gentlemen. Linda's got an update after this Sunday's lockdown as to where things stand in the PWR draft. Linda, take it away.
TNA Lockdown is in the record books, and the Nelson family is still in the lead. However, the Super Friends turned up the heat and gained points, making the draft closer than ever. Here are the current points. Nelson family with 2,265 points, and the Super Friends with 2,195. At Lockdown, the family scored 10 points with the devastating loss of 25 points for Jeff Hardy's loss, and the Super Friends gained 45 points with matches from Robbie E., Ken Anderson, and Bobby Roode. Going to the final event, WrestleMania, the Super Friends already have 100 points with the announced matches to the Nelson family's 40 points. If the draft ended today, the family would screech by with only a 10-point lead.
You know what I need? You know, Andy, could you do me a major favor? Because in celebration of my impending win of the 2013 PWR draft, can I have my trophy? I know there's not room here on this nice, shiny new set, but I just want to show this hack next to me what he is going to see duplicated this year. Thank you, Andrew. First place in the draft last year. First place again. I am in the lead already by 70 points.
70 points going into WrestleMania.
A win's a win, right? W. I'm going to win.
But bro,
This is with the announced matches for WrestleMania already.
How can you figure you're going to win?
I know I will. I won last year. I'm going to win this year.
I got John Cena's going to win the world champ or the biggest title of the
Great, you
land.
get 100 points for that.
And I'm down 70.
Yeah, that would be assuming I get 0 points, and my roster is much more strategic because I didn't just pick my friends.
I have Cody.
You do have Cody.
I have Kane.
You do have Kane.
I have ADR.
You do have ADR.
I have Jack Swagger.
Who's going to lose? So there went.
I have Jack Swagger.
Who will win? But you know what I think is going to happen? Ziggler cashes in at WrestleMania. Picture it. New York.
I guarantee
Swagger
he won't,
defeats ADR. It's given. Get the heat you need out of that. Swagger's still in a little bit of trouble. Let's not forget that, folks. There's the cash in. Here comes perfection. And he walks out of Mania with the World Heavyweight. Come on, you're the same guy who said that CM Punk wouldn't face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. What's happening? CM Punk's facing The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And oh, by the way, you did say he would not. You said he would not. If we go back to the archives,
I said he would not beat Undertaker at WrestleMania.
You said he would not face The Undertaker at WrestleMania is what you said repeatedly, which of course you've now selectively forgot. And I will say again, in case you've missed it, ladies and gentlemen, come April 7th in New York City, in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, the streak will be over. It will be 20-1. CM Punk will defeat The Undertaker 1, 2, 3, center of the ring at WrestleMania. Live with it. That's the way it is. Big time. And I can't wait to talk to Kevin Nash about that in a couple of weeks here on this program.
I can't wait till you talk to him about that.
Yeah, I'm not going to back down.
He will jackknife you.
Just as strong in an interview as Wolf Blitzer. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, it's TNA Impact Wrestling, Chicago, Illinois, one of my favorite cities in the world. We're going to be there live. We'll actually, this Saturday on PrimeTime, have a live report from the Sears Center. It's going to be a big night. Looking forward to it. Want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in and want to remind you to check us out on Saturday night as we bring you the 15th anniversary edition, 15 years on television, the Pro Wrestling Report. For that one,
this is
Damian Nelson saying so long, everyone. We'll see you Saturday night.